Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Duvall. I am a coordinator in the Culver City Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department. I would like to welcome you all to Culver City's first virtual celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. In these unprecedented times, we are happy the virtual world provides a space where we are able to safely gather as a community to remember the life and achievements of Dr. King. I would now like to introduce Reverend Carolyn Wilkins, who will help us kick off the beginning of this event. Let's just.
Thank you so much.
Oops. Carolyn, hold on one second. We're having some muting issues. There we go.
Unmuted and then you're.
Sorry. Okay. Go for it. Thank you.
Hello. I'm so delighted that everyone is here today to join us for a celebration of a powerful presence, a powerful energy, and one who is making a difference in our lives today. We're celebrating the life and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm going to be sharing just a few words in regard to his principles. And I want to begin with a slide that not only depicts him in a very reverent way, but I love the phrases, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And I hope we keep that in mind because we are united, no matter what people say, no matter how we've been taught, we all have a connection with each other. So I'd like to first just share some of the principles of nonviolence that he stepped up to and shared in the world, taking some from the work of Gandhi and adding to the work of other people. So we begin with the idea of nonviolence. Nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. And the meaning of this underneath it is it wasn't just a conversation about nonviolence. There was an intent and a commitment to that as a way of life, to meeting whoever you met with a sense of connection and using nonviolence as your core of who you were. He also spoke of the beloved community. It was a vision, a dream of us all being together as a framework for the future. The term is used a lot now. When he was first beginning to use the term, people were a little confused, but we talk more and more about allowing the beloved community to be our vision for the future. Another principle is about how we handle ourselves, to attack the forces of evil, not the persons doing evil. In today's world, we have to remind ourselves of that. It is not the person, but their ideas, their concepts, and the leadership that is moving them toward their action. To accept suffering without retaliation for the sake of the cause to achieve the goal. That meant turning the other cheek, that there were times that they were going to be beaten, run into police activity, be stopped from whatever their goal was. But to allow that concept of standing with a sense of courage and accept suffering is an important principle today. Avoid internal violence of the spirit, as well as external physical violence. The physical violence we can understand to avoid it, but I always encourage you to avoid internal violence. If you're angry, if you're fearful, if you're upset, let it go. Whether you find time to meditate or breathe or run, do whatever it is that allows you to release any internal violence, because it will shift your understanding and consciousness. And then the last concept is the universe is on the side of justice. It always is. That whatever we do, it's moving toward justice. And regardless of what we see on day-to-day levels, justice prevails. And then I want to leave with just a few things that support these principles. To honor the dignity and inherent worth of every human being, know our lives are linked. Nonviolence means you must choose compassion with our apparent adversaries. We oppose injustice and not people. And then the last, I know you've heard him say many times, nonviolence means recognizing love as the power of the human spirit. And I leave by saying, a better world is possible, and we see it already. I have a picture of our Vice President-elect, Kamala Harris. He would be very impressed with who she is and where she's come from. And then we also can attest to the worldwide global movement that happened as a result of Black Lives Matter this year. And I end with this quote, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Peace and blessings to all.
Thank you. Oops. Next we have Tori, who will be introducing our speakers.
Thank you, Reverend Carolyn, for that. I love that quote. Now we will have Mr. Will Rickards. He will do a presentation entitled Together, You Can Redeem the Soul of Our Nation. Mr. Rickards, join us for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. As many of you know, John Lewis was a distinguished civil rights leader and African-American statesman through the 1960s and 70s, and then continued his service to the nation in the House of Representatives as Georgia's congressional representative for 37 years until his death this last summer. Shortly before he died, he published his last essay in the New York Times in the wake of distinct police brutality and resulting civil unrest. In that essay, he addressed the current generation of civic leaders and concerned citizens. And though Mr. Lewis was about 10 years older than myself, and that puts me at a relatively old age in relation to civic leadership, I still feel a kindred with his message and his statements about the current leadership. He wrote, "While my time here now has come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter in the great American story when you used your power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people, motivated simply by human compassion, laid down the burdens of division. Around the country and the world, you set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, though I was admitted to the hospital the following day. I just had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, The truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rayshard Brooks, Sandra Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never, ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison, and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by two loving parents, plenty of brothers and sisters and cousins, their love could not protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store, or some Skittles, or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts, that we could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas, and choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in. And then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said, "We are all complicit when we tolerate injustice." He said, "It is not enough to say it will be better by and by." He said, "Each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state. It is an act. And each generation must do its part to build what we call the beloved community. A nation and world society at peace with itself. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring.
Thank you, Mr. Rickers. That was fantastic. John Lewis is one of my favorites. I got a chance to meet him when I went to the second inaugural. Now we will have, is Mr. Dan Wunsch involved? Has he appeared on the screen?
And
Not
has
yet.
not.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Dan and we'll go ahead with Darren. Oh, Mr. Darren, we are ready for your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this is something I chose that felt right for me to be able to read at this event today. It's part of an article called America's Most Important Gay Rights Speech, ? And it appeared in the New Yorker on January 21st, 2013. It was written by Richard Socarides. No one anticipated it, but President Barack Obama used the occasion of his second inaugural address to give us what was perhaps the most important gay rights speech in American history. Inaugural addresses are, by their definition, important in defining occasions, when presidents set the tone and direction for the coming years. President Obama used the occasion to make the first direct reference to gay rights in an inaugural address. And he did so with a power and forthrightness we have not heard before, even from him. About 2/3 of the way into the speech, Obama referred to Stonewall, a gay bar where in 1969, a police raid provoked a riot, in the same sentence as Seneca Falls and Selma, thus comparing the women's and African American civil rights movements to the gay rights struggle. Had he stopped there, it would have been historic, particularly coming from the first African American president. But in keeping with the tradition of politicians who refer to their gay rights obliquely or with code words, stopping short of directness. But the president continued. He said, "Our journey is not complete until our gay brothers and sisters are treated like anyone else under the law. Or if we are truly created equal, then surely the love we commit to one another must be equal as well." Not only was this to end discrimination, but an unambiguous argument for the recognition of same-sex marriage across the country. For a president who announced a support for marriage equality less than a year before this speech, this was a bold declaration from perhaps the boldest of all platforms. Thank you.
And the rest is now history. Oh, that was great. Man, we had so many wonderful changes throughout our world. Now, I would like to present Janet Halt, who will talk about Martin Luther King in 1961. Well,
thank you. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I'm never sure. Now that I'm 84, I don't know what I'm doing with the technical stuff, but thank you all very much for being there. All right, after graduating from the University of Washington in 1958, I became a teacher in Seattle. And during my senior year at the University of Washington, I was president of the student YWCA, and I also chaired the World University Service Committee. And in those roles, I often interacted with other student groups concerned about prejudice and discrimination, both in the United States and abroad. In 1961, I learned of the coming visit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was looking forward to hearing him speak at the First Presbyterian Church. When I heard that Dr. King had been denied the right to speak there, I was dismayed and angry. But then I found that the venue was changed to the University of Washington campus, and more than 2,000 students came to hear him. He talked about the role young people played in the civil rights struggle and the student sit-in movement and the freedom rides. He said that the student movements had done more to save the soul of the nation than anything he could think of. He called for brotherhood and urged young people to do creative protests to break down racial discrimination and segregation by using nonviolent means. He inspired me to become involved in CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, and to march with them in protests in Seattle to secure better housing and employment. The following year, I left for France on a Fulbright fellowship and became involved in creative student protests following the advice of Dr. King. Dr. King's words and dreams were too often ignored in the 1960s, and today they continue to be ignored by people of all races, cultures, sexual orientation, and religions when they refuse to recognize that in God's eyes, we are all equal. This year at Culver City's celebration of Martin Luther King Day, let's remember his words, his dreams, and his way to follow the sunlit path of justice, to change to the solid rock of brotherhood from racial injustice, to make certain that for all God's children, we will make justice and freedom ring. Let's remember with gratitude the inspiring Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Imagine 61 years later, we still talking about the same issues. Were you going to do a poem?
The poem was the last. Would you like me to repeat that? Those last words when I was having trouble speaking?
Yes, please.
Once again, this year at Culver City's celebration of Martin Luther King Day, let's remember his words, his dreams, and his way. To follow the sunlit path of justice, to change to the solid rock of brotherhood from racial injustice, to make certain that for all God's children, we will make justice and freedom reign. Let's remember with gratitude, inspiring Dr. Martin Luther King. That's a poem.
It's 2021. So it's just amazing, everything that's going on. So has Dan arrived yet?
No.
Am I muted? Okay. Okay, so would you like to go forth with Mr. Wayne Slappy as he reads a poem for us today? Mr. Slappy, are you ready for your poetry reading?
I'm trying to be ready. That poem was tremendous, Janet. I really appreciate it. Many years ago, I was invited by, rest in peace, Mr. Bill Nguyen, to become a member of the Dr. Martin Luther King Culver City Celebration Committee.
Wayne, you're muted. I can't hear him.
He's not muted. I think it's a bandwidth.
Oh, I see his mouth's moving, but I can't hear him.
Uh-oh, we got a problem.
Now I heard that.
Houston, there's a problem.
Okay, we hear you now. Stay in that position.
Let me start again. I was saying that Janet's poem was really touching. I had
Yes,
to get myself back together after listening to it.
right.
I was saying that I was invited years ago to become a member of the committee by Mr. Bill Nguyen. Rest in peace, Mr. Nguyen, who asked me to become a member. And I said yes. I didn't hesitate because I remembered exactly where I was the day Dr. King was killed. Exactly how I felt. It was almost like it was yesterday. And many years later, I was able to meet his daughter and become a friend of hers and meet all of her family members in her apartment, which was her condo, actually, which was about a minute drive from where I live right now. And we became friends, and another reason for me to stay and stick and do what I had to do for the committee. So today I'm going to read actually two poems. One poem I was able to read to Coretta and the family one day, and I'd like to share that with you. It's called The Ransom. The Ransom. I owe them too much to fail. Their sweat-painted brows, cotton-splintered fingers, mud-swollen limbs, marrow-tired backs, and tear-drenched dreams paid a ransom far too great. A ransom paid in full to pirates of human larceny, whose chests of stolen treasure now pollute more than air and land and sea. You see, a ransom stained with the blood of millions and millions holocausted, whose transatlantic journey required no ticket, no visa or customs check, passing only into the grubby paws of greedy customers bidding for souls they beat and raped and lynched. Africa's children. There was and is no Ellis Island for us. They endured the lash for me, suffered Jim Crow for me, bitten by shepherds, fire hosed off their feet, bombed in Birmingham, assassinated in Memphis, herded into jobless ghettos for me. I know you make that we owe them far too much to fail. Their sweat-painted brows, cotton-splintered fingers, mud-swollen limbs, marrow-tired backs, and tear-drenched dreams paid a ransom far too great.
Woo.
Poem.
Thank you, Wayne.
The second poem
Second one. Okay, go ahead.
is called We. This is more current, more recently written. We. Yes, you, me, us, we are the dream he wished to see. Let's suppose I propose we are those and what he saw off in the distance, a distance further than any assassin's bullet could reach. We, yes, you, me, us, we are that dream. You see, it's up to us, you understand? It's up to us to make demands, to take bold stands, so that together our children, our descendants, and theirs will be able to live in a world beyond the nightmares and cross burnings, beyond mob nooses or police murders, their stranglings, choked by neck or bended knee, beyond the shepherds and their hoses. Whether we are protesting, driving, jogging, or merely walking down the street, let's stay, sway, and stand together, because we, each of us, all of our lives matter beyond the hate. Wait, let's stop, prate, let's vote, and cogitate. Let's promote love before it's too late. Now, somehow, wow. Yes, you, me, us, we are the ransomed, the dream and the dreamers he desired, aspired, and inspired to see. Yes, you, me, us, we. Let's be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. Yes, we. Yes, you, me, us, we. Let us be. You, me, us, we. Let's be the dream he wished, desired, aspired, and inspired us to be. Let us be. Yeah, let us be. We.
That was emotional. Thank you, Wayne. That is so awesome for your participation. Bill invited me as well to be a part of this endeavor, and it's been pretty emotional. We're looking forward to the memorial, but I took the 2016 format that we had before because it was all about love. Martin Luther King said, I have decided to stick with love because hate is too great a burden to bear. The poem from that theme was life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Our lives began to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. That's one of the poems that Dr. Martin Luther King stated. And also on that same flyer that year was Dare, Not Walk Alone. The laws were rewritten, but inequality still remains. So we like to continue to make a difference and make things better in this world in its entirety. And right now, we will have open mic, moderated, co-moderated by myself and Mr. Wayne Slappy. Are there any questions in the queue? If there are any participants who would like to have any questions or concerns addressed, please place your name in the chat and they will take it in the order in which they appear, and we will be unmuted accordingly. Thank you. Okay, Stephanie. I see a couple of things in the chat. Would you like to read them?
I'm gonna unmute Carol right now. Let's see. Am I? Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble unmuting. Give me one moment.
I think we're gonna unmute our individual selves. Want to try that?
I can't unmute myself. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my computer was frozen.
I can do it, Steph.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, Carol says, would you just read what she wrote, please?
All right.
I can read what she wrote. So Carol wanted us to read what she wrote to you. She said, she's so moved by all of your reading. She's attended the Culver City MLK weekend events and looked forward to seeing Bill Nguyen, my friend. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. May I ask that we take one moment of silence as a tribute to Bill Nguyen, who was the former president of the Culver City Democratic Club. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for that. This particular event meant a lot to him as well as Culver City. He loved being in Culver City and being participatory in all the activities, not just La Bologna, but Mamie Clayton, all of the museums, whatever he could do to help the city of Culver City, he did it. So it's such a tremendous loss. We miss him terribly. So each of you will be notified whenever we get a chance to put a little memorial together for him with photos and tributes. Any other questions or anything from the audience? Any questions, answers, concerns from the panelists as well? I see a dot in the chat. Is there anything else over there?
I think Wayne was talking, but he may be muted.
Oh,
Let's unmute.
I can't see Wayne anymore. Wayne, you're muted. There you go. Now you're
There you
unmuted.
go.
There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to say that it's an honor to be a member of the committee.
Yes.
Year, because the more people participate, the more ideas. Relatives there will be a link supplied so that everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, Tori.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Wayne had to say, because I added a small part, but what I heard from him, what Darren read, what we heard from Will, what we've heard from all of you, is what we need to hear more often. We need to be reminded of all these wonderful ideas that we need to take to heart, and we need to continue to work together. Thank you for all the efforts that you've put in to pull this together. Stephanie, Valerie, Reverend, it's been a wonderful experience for me, and I greatly appreciate the honor and the privilege that I've been given to be included. Thank you, and bless you all.
Well, we appreciate your participation as well as everyone on the call. One of the things that I would really enjoy is that we can have the link ahead of time so we can have more of an audience. And because we're used to seeing all your wonderful faces looking back at us directly in the flesh, and we cannot do that this time. So I really, really appreciate everyone that took the time to participate today at this moment. And oh my God, it's so heartfelt. So
I'd like to add just a thought, Tori.
Yes, Carolyn. Reverend Carolyn.
Thank you. I miss us being able to get together.
Right.
Not only as a committee, but to have the youth involved. We've had the youth involved for many years, and so my heart is open that they continue to know about the King legacy, but not the legacy as much as it is how they can apply those principles in their life today. Because I know there's confusion, there's concern, and of what do you do when you see violence? What do you do when you want to march? And so I think these principles are so powerful right now. And if there's any way we can reach out to the youth, I'd love to be a part of that. And then the other thing I'd like to share, I'm so glad, Tori, that you're touching our youth by being with them in the classroom. But I wanted to share that I was very grateful to hear the news that the African American Museum, the artwork, did not get lost and put aside and was taken by the university.
Well, that's not quite solidified yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it with Lloyd.
There's potential, yes. So I'm just saying that that's part of, to me, what's important, that Culver City has within its own works, some of the beautiful contributions of African Americans. And I hope that we can continue to maintain that and honor it.
Well, that's another thing we have to work on and pray about. Right now, Wayne, are you able to speak to us audibly? No, not yet.
I think
no, he's there. I'm looking at him.
Okay.
Tori, Jan just came in, so I'm going to set him as a panelist so that he
good.
Just in time.
Okay. Perfect. Dan made it. Yeah. Is he? I can't see him yet. Let me see. Oh, Dan. Oh, he moved again. That's one thing about these slides.
Can you unmute himself?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
There you go.
What an ordeal. What an ordeal to log in.
Oh, join the club. The important thing is you made it. And you made it just in time. So right now, I'd like to introduce you, Dan Watch, and I am Tori Bailey, awaiting your presentation.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for your participation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Dan Watch will present Lost in America.
Yeah, this is I'm a singer-songwriter from Nashville, and I've always been inspired by MLK, and also just wanted to say, protest about social justice, but MLK also advocated economic justice and inspired me to write the lyrics to this song. And also, I admire his quote when he got the Nobel Peace address. There is nothing new about poverty. What is new, however, is that we have the resources to get rid of it. We're the richest country in the world, so there's no reason why we can't end poverty. So here's the lyrics to the song Lost in America. I'm your black citizen. I committed no sin. I fear because the color of my skin. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your Vietnam vet. My home is the street. I fought for your freedom. You turn your back on me. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your welfare mom, trapped in poverty. If I get a job and work, I have less money. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your fast food server, working hard every day, doing my best to survive. Minimum wage. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your high school dropout, makes no sense or logic. Teach me a career skill. Not everyone goes to college. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your gay person just wanting my rights. Why is it always such a fight? I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. I'm your sick person, can't afford health care. Why is it a human right? Not in America, but everywhere. I'm lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. Chains broke your feet, you stand so proud and tall. Guide us, the tired, the wretched, and the poor, to your door once more. For the promise of an America with freedom and justice for all. For your promise of an America with freedom and justice for all. Oh, we're lost in America, searching for the Statue of Liberty. That's it.
Wow, you covered every aspect of what's happening to this world now. And that's part of the reason for a lot of the homelessness and the lost in America that is happening all over the world. What inspired you to write that?
Well, Martin Luther King, stood for social justice, but he also stood for economic justice, which is really just, you need both of them. And so that kind of inspired me to, with this message to end poverty and the suffering of people in general. And it's economic justice. And,
yes, it is. It most certainly is. Wow, everything's so emotional today. Well, I thank you so much for that, Dan. We appreciate your participation again. And I'm glad you were able to join us in a timely fashion. And
I almost gave up.
No, see, you didn't give up. It was meant for you to say your poem and for us to hear it. So we had to do the same thing. So don't feel like the Lone Ranger. It took us a minute to get in as well. So at this point, we still having momentarily technical difficulties because now it's Mr. Slappy's turn to do the closing, and we're trying to figure out if we can hear his voice. Mr. Slappy, can I hear you? I think he drops. Can I hear you now?
I've been unmuted.
There you are. We're ready for your closing.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming, everyone for sharing. It was a tremendous, as Tori said, it was so emotional. Reverend Carolyn is an incredible, not only motivator, but actually person that can teach people how to go about their lives and resolving things in an unviolent way. And I can't wait for her to do that some more next year with the adults and the young people so that we can pass that on to others. Everyone else, I look forward to seeing you all up close and personal next year. And I look forward to more of you who are listening in to possibly join the committee to bring your ideas, your vibration, your energy, your spirit to join us in reviving and reminding people about the beauty of Dr. King. All that he meant, means, and will always mean and always contribute to humanity. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Now, Stephanie, yes.
Sorry. On behalf of the city, I would just like to thank everyone for joining us for this virtual event. Especially a big thank you to our committee members, Reverend Carolyn and Tori, as well as Wayne, and everyone who shared with us today. Without you guys, this event wouldn't have happened. This first virtual event, we hit a couple of hiccups, but I think overall it was a great success. We will make sure to share the recorded version of this so other people can enjoy it. And we really just hope that everybody has a great rest of this holiday weekend. And we look forward to being able to celebrate, hopefully in person next year. And that's it. So thank you all so much for.
Yes, thank you all very, very much for your
Thank you, guys. And make sure I get a copy as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll send you guys out an email of everything.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you all for making it happen.
Sharing love.
Okay.
Take care, man. Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie. Sorry, a very big thank you to Valerie, who was our IT support on this, and we absolutely
Valerie.
Yes, thank you.
Needed you, Valerie.
And I can help.
Have a happy holiday on Monday.
You too.
Yes. Take care, Tori. When did Bill pass?
Right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.